Hello and welcome to Around the Console podcast, a Doctor Who review podcast. Now, I know, like me, some of you may live in fear of AI. Well, I'm going to hand over to John to introduce the podcast as if he was hosting it like artificial intelligence. In fact, it's not even John. It's our AI, our new AI host, Joanna.
Joanna.
Yeah.
Joanna on ChatGPT. Nice. So I said, write a quick intro to the podcast about Doctor Who, the Brain of Morbius. So here we go. This is the official intro to this podcast today. Welcome, fellow Whovians, to another exciting episode of Timey-Wimey Tales. Oh, actually, no, that should be Around the Console. The podcast where we deep dive into the wibbly-wobbly world of Doctor Who. I'm your host, John, and today we're setting our TARDIS coordinates to the classic Fourth Doctor adventure, The Brain of Morbius. Join me with Craig, Sheps, and Bob, and Suki, even in the background behind this little notification that's popped up, and let's rock.
There you go. There you go. AI hosting the podcast.
AI.
That's amazing.
Can I drop off and let AI take my place?
I mean,
No,
you're mostly asleep anyway, Suki, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, well,
so,
yeah. You know, to sleep. You guys usually put me to sleep, so.
Well,
yeah. Brain of Morbius. Let's go around the console. Sheps, what's your first thoughts or whatever we do?
I haven't seen this one for ages yet, but when it came up, I thought, oh right, it's a good one to watch. I watched it, and it's like Hammer Horror and Doctor Who as a child. It's got some of the best lines in it. Tom Baker's great, and Elizabeth. She's beautiful.
Sarah Jane. God
Sarah
damn
Jane.
it! What's going on? Who's the fan here?
I don't know. I was my head just went.
Can we get the AI in instead of Cliff?
Fuck off! And then, but I did expect all the way through it that someone's going to start singing and dancing and like walking over a picture show. It's the same fucking story.
Oh.
Well, that was based on Frankenstein, so it goes back a long time.
Is this positive? Is this positive, Cliff? I think
positive. It's positive. Yeah. It's not like woohoo, just positive, wicked. But it's like semi.
Awesome, Craig.
Well, never happy with a semi. I'm going to follow on with complete positivity. I just think this is an absolute Doctor Who classic. I always love this. I think it's dark, it's atmospheric, it's all those things that AI said. It's just a brilliant story. And also more now, I think it's a really central story to the whole joining of classic Who and new Who. And that's what I love about this. So I am just going to absolutely gush love for this story.
Positive. Too positive. John. Oh, Joanna.
Johan. Call him Johan.
Johan.
Johanna is the name. I don't know why you want to change. Don't try and gender be specific. AI doesn't have a gender.
Okay.
In this timeless tale, the Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith find themselves on the mysterious planet Khan, where a dark secret lies buried beneath the surface. A secret that involves the Time Lord's arch nemesis, Morbius, whose sinister plan threaten not only the Doctor's very existence, but that of fabric of time itself.
Yes, but what did you think of it?
What did you think, John?
Me? I'm going to ask ChatGPT what I thought.
What did John think?
No, I really enjoyed it. I thought I love the fact that there was Frankenstein vibes, and there was also many other references in there, different things. It was like the witches from like Macbeth. There was all sorts of. There was just loads of little subtle things that it picked from a number of different cult niche references and forged something quite unique. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole. I did like the Nemesis guy. He was great. I've forgotten his name. Solon.
Solon, Professor Solon.
He was great, but he had master vibes all the way through, which annoyed me because of the beard. But other than that, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was really well done.
Cool.
And obviously Sarah Jane was in it, so
yeah,
top marks. Like top marks.
Talking of annoying people with beards, Suki.
Look who's talking, young man.
Oh no! In fact, as soon as I said that, I was like,
that's a good one.
Black in it, so yeah.
Yes. This has always been one of my go-to stories in the past because I remember having this on video many years ago, and it was one of the first videos I had, and it sort of was on constant play for a number of months until my mum stopped me from watching it. Right, so it's always been a favourite of mine, and it's mainly down to the performances. Again, Tom Baker, brilliant. Philip Maddock as Solon, absolutely fantastic. And the other one that really stands out is Colin Fay as Kondo, because if he didn't have that sort of brutish pathos that he's got, right, it just stands out a lot. So it is a classic in my eyes. I can't say too much wrong about it.
Suki said pathos as well, which is I'm blown
I've
away
been
by the vocabulary.
I've been reading a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of books.
Showing you're improving as a person.
I was more blown away that he said VHS. He's lying. It must be Betamax from his age.
Oh no, I don't think it was released on Betamax. I think it was on VHS only. Bob, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with everything everyone's said. It is an absolute classic, isn't it? The thing I really wanted to get into off the bat is the mind battle between Morbius and the Doctor, and this. I just remember, and I wanted to talk about it because when we sort of hinted to John about it when this came up at the end of the last podcast, we were going for a cliffhanger, I think. But it was the childless, the timeless child thing, and these. I remember before all the timeless child stuff, seeing previous incarnations of possibly the Doctor, possibly Morbius. We don't really know. But when I just remember seeing that when I first saw this, and I was like, yeah, there's John Pertwee, Patrick Troughton, William Hartnell. Who are these people? And it blew my tiny little Doctor Who mind. For when the timeless child came about, oh my God, it just made this sort of thing that we don't necessarily ignore, but something that Doctor Who can. Yeah,
they put it in the episode, didn't they? In the Timeless Child, they did the clips from this, which really linked it back into it.
Yeah, and it just made Timeless Child. It just made it, or this episode, even better. So to go back and watch it with what we know now, it's just fabulous. And I didn't know what you thought of that, John. Did you pick up on that when you watched this about the Timeless Child thing?
Yeah, I know I knew you were referring to something, so I was on the lookout for it. But it was. I could see what you meant, but I mean, also I think this is just one of the things that Doctor Who writers have done over the years continually. He's put little seeds in, let other writers in the future pick them up if they want them. And I think that's an ideal version of one of them. I mean, it might just be they are Morbius's black people, but. Even if it's not, even if it is, it doesn't really matter. But it could be Doctor's pre-one incarnations.
I thought that link was so clever because what we know now. But how come it never been picked up before?
It has been picked up. There's been a number of times that people have thought those pictures were past Doctors.
I know, but not like as a fan watching it, but it's never been written into any of the other storylines before.
Because, again, I think this is just down to the fact that people didn't want past Doctors before William Hartnell. So they never wrote anything about him. It's just...
Because we watched the classics, and only an actual probably a fan will watch the class, and obviously people pick it up. But you just feel like if people watch this, it's explaining us so much more of the Timeless Child. Do you know what I mean? You feel complete watching the Timeless Child and this.
For me, this actually the Timeless Child made this episode even better because I never used to like that scene when it regressed past William Hartnell because I didn't like the uncertainty of it. I kind of never quite got it in my head that it could be Morbius, even though it could be. To me, it was always the Doctor because it went down the Doctor sequentially. So when it reached it, it made sense. It was still the Doctor. So in my head, it wasn't. I just didn't like the unexplained nature. Whereas what was a classic became even more significant to the whole Doctor Who universe to me because of that. I think it was almost like this, I don't know, it would be at that point, 50-year riddle has suddenly been solved by one person picking up a story arc.
Yeah, it is. And it's tremendous and it makes it all that much more just better. And it's good. I've not watched it since. the Timeless Child reveal. So to go back and watch it was a joy. And there's just a lot of stuff in here that I don't know, just gets lots of nods for me. The Sisters of Khan.
Oh yeah, the Sisters of Khan as well. Yeah,
and they look just like they did when Karen Gillan played one. And it just looks good. Sorry, John's got his John.
Yeah, join us as we dissect the genius behind the gothic horror influences, the spine-tingling set design, the masterful direction that brought the Brain of Morbius to life. From the eerie sisterhood of Khan to the heart-stopping confrontation between the Doctor and the vengeful Morbius, every moment is a pulse-pounding thrill.
You see, this is the problem with the AI. There's no emotion in there. It's no feeling. It's just telling us what we already know. Not that I know anything about AI, but...
Well, on that point, Craig, on this cosmic escapade, the Doctor and Sarah Johnson... I'll stop.
It's scary, that AI stuff. Craig, I don't really know a great deal about it. But it's scary. You immediately go to Blade Runner, don't you? Oh, yeah, Terminator.
I mean, just thinking what you said about Sisterhood of Khan.
Yes.
That, to me, is another really important aspect of this story. It was just once an aspect of a story, like, I don't know, the Mentiads or something like that. But now, the Sisterhood of Khan have become so encroached in, the Eighth Doctor's regeneration, the search for Peter Capaldi, Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
Good old Peter. I'll do that. The fact that it's now the Sisterhood of Khan have met 3 incarnations on the screen kind of shows that, and they talk about this Time Lord Alliance, shows how central they are. So again, it really arcs right in the center of Doctor Who mythology.
I do love the fact that Tom Baker chucks a little firework or whatever down the chute of the elixir of life. It just blows it up. And it's a good cliffhanger as well, because when it stops and they're going to kill him somehow, it's just all quite good. It's all that culty sort of horror thing.
I really like the Sisterhood because, I mean, like I mentioned in my intro, there's a lot of Witches of Eastwick. It's a coven of witches essentially, and go on, Sucky, point out the fucking error.
I was just going to say it's she, the Ursula Andress film, which is based on I think Edgar Rice Burroughs book. It's she, because that's eternal life of.
I know, but I'm saying that since then, I mean, this is something that has been repeated throughout our TV and movie history. It's a kind of and it comes from Macbeth originally. I'm sure she, but just having a sort of, and the thing about the witches is like it's all based on misinterpretation of what's going on. Yes. Which is a very good it's an analogy for like this is how people are when when they lack ignorance and then when they get that power together and they get together they can kill even Time Lords and stuff. So.
And also the fact that they have lived, or can live it kind of immortally, and nothing changes. They don't change, and I think that's quite a fascinating thing that they've lived.
True conservatives.
It's really stagnate as a society. Can you imagine? I mean, God, those clothes must reek if they've wore them all that time.
I mean, immortality doesn't mean you're not allowed to change your fucking clothes or wash. Great.
Yeah, but they look like they haven't changed no clothes. I'm just saying, they looked a bit scruffy. Cliff, you've been trying to say something for ages.
I was going to say, when you first watch it, though, like I remember watching this, I don't know, 90s maybe, on the tape, it just felt a bit silly. But it's only now, again, until you watch the new stuff and they've incorporated it into the storyline, you get more of a background of who they actually are. Because when you watch it, then it's like, oh, this is all right, but I don't know where it's going. And then afterwards, you see them pieced together.
Yeah, but just so I can kind of understand what you kind of mean. So obviously, you mentioned Karen Gillan's played one of these Sisters of Khan.
No, that was a joke.
No, he was a joke.
No,
have they come up in Future Who? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
When
in what context? In what context?
The main one, the 8th generation into the War Doctor.
It's like a little mini bonus episode.
Were they helpful or were they hindrance?
They gave him the drink.
They've always been very helpful when they came back.
That's why, because they kind of their antipathy towards the Time Lords is must have been at that point in their life cycle, I suppose.
Well, the Karen Gillan reference was that when they went to ancient Pompeii they looked there was a
exactly the
they
same,
looked
didn't they?
exactly the same as the Sisters of Khan, and they really did as well. And it really brought it home watching this. And I thought that was super cool. And I love the beginning. So when it's you get this vibe of the spaceships, this thing in place where the spaceships crash. Whoever's bringing them down, so be it Solon, to try and bring down people to work out if he can use them to put this body together for Morbius. I love the way they've done these sets, because this was all on set. There was no blue screen or CGI or outdoor. And I think it just looks really cool. You can tell it's a model, but the way they've lit it, the building as well, it's Solon's castle, if you like. I just love all them little bits, because basically this story, although you're saying about these horror elements, it's basically going to Solon, then going to the sisters, and going to Solon. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of
it offered loads of changes of scenery for your viewer.
It did, and that was cool. And I just love that you've got these sort of two threats, but when they do baddies like this, just with loads of stuff on them, they're not bad, are they? Yet they're trying to kill your hero.
It's really good that the baddies have their own history with each other as well. It's interwoven into the whole story.
It's cool. I love the fact he sends them a note as well to say, "Can I have his head? I've sent him back to you."
That was a bloody big brain, though, wasn't it? How's it
going? That is still quite sinister when the brain just flops out of the jar
and it flops on the floor.
And at the time in the 70s, if you saw that as a kid, it'd be brilliant. But just watched it, and I was like, "That is minging, the brain flopping out with all the goo."
But they had all the horror tropes of people being in a place and they're not sure of. The rain comes down and there's that. Oh, there's a light. We can go to the mansion. You go into the mansion, and then you got the sinister weirdo who follows the professor around, you know what I mean. And but the one thing what I thought, did they write Sarah Jane out or think what can we do with her? So they made her blind.
Yeah.
Because it felt a bit like, what are we gonna do with her?
She didn't play blind very well, by the way.
No,
I don't think she did.
No.
Oh, bless.
She was like, I can't see, but I'm going exactly where I need to.
Well, that's because she heard things, didn't she? Because she was she heard the squeals. I've got to defend Sarah Jane. I've got to. Sorry, you can't.
And no one took advantage when she was blind.
Oh my God,
Sheps.
Okay, yeah.
Sheps. God,
I don't know. The lump of meat on the table got up.
Wow. I mean, Condo was pretty harsh to her.
Can we call him his full name? Condominium, please.
Condominium was very harsh to her initially, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was. I mean, he was quite brutal, because it kind of looked a little bit silly. At first with sort of mullet haircut or whatever.
No, it was caveman, just standard caveman thing.
Yeah, but he put some right sinister, crazy nastiness into it. It was quite uncomfortable at points when he's grabbing her hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
and he's got
remember, this guy hasn't got much of a brain. He is a slave, and he doesn't know really how to interact with other people.
But he gets agency later on. He does come to realizations later on. He's not entirely dumb.
No,
it's the revelation of his arm, isn't it? Kind of liberates him. That's when you realise he's been lied to.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Abused.
My fucking arm, but what you've done, you bastard.
Shep should have been in charge of the script. That would have been awesome. That would have been a line.
Fucking arm.
But right from the very opening sequence, I mean, you mentioned before, Bob, you can tell this is going to be really gruesome when that mutant gets out and it's literally killed immediately.
Yes, and that's the other one,
and the squeal comes out, the squeal comes out, and it's like, oh, it's just been murdered. Right, that is your opening 5 seconds or whatever. It's great. Really terrifying.
That creature that was an amalgam of about 1,000 different creatures. That when it had the helmet on, it looked like something out of Forbidden Planet or something.
I really like it because
I thought it was great. Yeah,
it could be ridiculous
to the eyes.
It could be ridiculous, but it just looks properly good and properly sinister. And like you're saying, that Forbidden Planet kind of vibe.
Yeah,
it's 50 sort of or 40 sort of sci-fi.
Well, this is why I mentioned that it's a bunch of different references inside of it. It's not just a Frankenstein tale, which is obvious.
Yeah,
that's the top layer for the people who were.
Yeah,
it's like that's the top layer for the Radio Times, so they could do their quick, But it's just so many other references to different genres and and all of it behind it, we've got the Doctor and Elizabeth Sladen was fantastic in some of the stuff. Her interaction with Tom Baker.
Yeah,
when she's
is-
blind.
lines are brilliant. The one where
she's
he's
just
nearly
weird.
dead, and he
But
goes,
she-
"Your father's dead,"
and stuff like that. She's like, I really felt the chemistry between them worked, which
It
is not
remi-
something that necessarily has happened with companions all the time.
No, it reminds me a lot of Capaldi and Clara. I don't know because they're similar in how
Yeah,
they
maybe,
portray it or
yeah.
looks, but there's that kind of just that playful vibe or laughing at, or even Rose and Tennant, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
playful vibe at dying. You
Yes.
know, like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you would, you know, and that, like you were saying then about the humor.
Yeah.
The humor's done in this era before it gets very silly during the Graham Williams era,
Yeah.
really, really well because it's dark humor,
yeah.
and I think it's and the other reference as well was the mutant, the mutt from previous Doctor Who. It's just really cool. Sucky's got
This is
oh, sorry.
the way they it's sort of kept it sincere. They've managed to keep it right in the proper way of not going over the top. And the one that really keeps it is Philip Maddock as Solon. If he could have played that as a mad professor, really chewing the scenery, but I don't think so. I don't think he has. I think he's just stayed on the right side of the performance. If it had been the other way, this story would have been just, oh, good grief.
Ships mentioned Hammer, but it wasn't hammed up as much as Hammer is.
Oh, well done.
So, but it was really well done, and I think Philip Maddock, whatever his name is, he was like the glue that kind of held that half of the tale together. I mean, the monsters were just incidental. Condor was just so obviously with the hunch and all that stuff. It wasn't even subtle. That was a little bit annoying.
It's for the kids, though, isn't it? It's the fun bit. That is.
Yeah, you're right.
What I thought was like a bit touchy is the fact that when Morbius realizes he hasn't got much choice to go into this this mutant bits of body of everything else, and it's like his only
chimera. We call it a chimera. Is that the word?
I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna find out.
So
thing is with Morbius, though, he doesn't know what sort of body Sauron's created.
No, but he knows that it knows that it's not complete. He's rushing. He's desperate.
He's only but the only thing that he's waiting on is a head, and he knows it's going to be a human Time Lord, a Time Lord head. Yeah. Right, so he must assume that the body's going to be sort of humanoid, but have that sort of hodgepodge of body parts together, right? I don't think Morbius would have liked it, but in the book, he's quite happy with it because there's stuff in there where he says certain body parts help him to survive.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say there's part of it as well because it's is it Roy Skelton that's in who's done Roy Skelton, the stunt guy who's inside the suit. The main stunt guy in Doctor Who in the 70s. Anyway, I can't. No, that's not Roy Skelton. It's someone else. I can't remember his name. I'm sure you'll tell me, Suki. But it's a good move, isn't it? That costume, you know, because it could be quite cumbersome. Yeah. But like the claw, when he's like strangling people to death, you can get the strength and the speed and all that kind of thing from it. It's an ace costume.
There is some really bad stuff though, like when the Sisterhood of Khan woman gets killed by it, and she literally is. She walks into it, doesn't she? That's really poorly realised.
There was a few times when the Sister of Khan woman, I've forgotten the lead. Who was she, Suki? What was her character? Oh, what was the character's name? The boss. Marin. Anyway, she messed up a couple of lines in true Doctor Who fashion. They didn't re-record it. She just came in too early, had to stop. And she was the least. To me, she was the least effective of the actors there.
I the leader of the Sisterhood.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy her performance at all. I thought she was really. I don't know. I wasn't convinced. I mean, her assistant woman, the mad lady, who was up for a fight. She was great. She was wide eyed and staring all the time. It was quite terrifying.
I thought she was the least believable of the Sisterhood of Khan because I just loved the way
she wasn't believable either. But I think
like the wide eyed look.
Yeah, I think, but it was a bit crazy. That's wasn't as good as Philip Maddock.
Stuart Fell is the stuntman. Roy Skelton is the voice of the Daleks. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I lost my
The
Dr.
voice of
I thought-
Morbius is Michael Spice.
Yes, Michael Spice, the voice.
I
thought-
was going to say, I thought it was a Daleki voice.
No, it wasn't Roy Skelton.
And
He
no,
was,
but that's
he
what I
was
thought.
Sutek in did he do Sutek? Who
No.
did the voice?
That's Gabriel Chase, isn't it?
Gabriel
Come on,
Wolf.
Suki, tell
Gabriel
tell-
Wolf,
Gabriel
that's
Wolf
it.
did
Gabriel
Sutek.
Wolf. Who did he do the voice of though? This guy. He did the voice
Who?
of something else.
Michael Spice. He
Yeah.
did Talons of Wing Chang.
That was it.
Magnus Grill.
Grill. Yeah. We get there in the end, don't we, between us? And that's the point. We're a group.
Most
Is
of it's
this-
just sucky though.
But
isn't
you
it?
mostly rely on me, though, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, but you
We've
were
got-
looking at the
we've
Doctor
got-
Companion. We could see you on.
You've got a book.
We could watch you. You can do the
Yeah,
good old
but
classic book.
this is just to confirm the choices that are already going around my head. You see, that's all.
Oh yeah. Is this also the first time we get to know his age? Apart from the time, I think William Hartnell mentions it.
No,
once.
you've got Patrick Troughton. You've got William Patton mentions it. Tom Baker's mentioned it quite a lot.
Well, that's
He
how
does
old he
mention
believes.
it a
That's
few,
how
but
old.
I think-
That's how old he believes he is.
He is,
700.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Because during Tom Baker's era, he does actually go up and then come back down again.
Oh,
Well,
does
you
it?
know,
So
when
it-
he gets
it loses-
it's timey-wimey, sucky. What
Well,
do you
then maybe
expect?
it's done on purpose because he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know how old I am. Sometimes I
It's
forget
like
how
I
old
always think I'm
maybe-
22. You know,
Maybe it
so-
depends in which time he's actually arrived in. How old he calls himself.
Yeah,
Well,
because
that's clever.
years could be longer on different planets, which they are. Probably
I don't know.
science. Yeah.
Something else brilliant about this, I don't know if you picked up, and it really added to the atmosphere, was a xylophone in the music. It's not often the music is just absolutely brilliant, but there's this little kind of,
Compliments it.
yeah, it really adds that tingle to the whole thing, and you building up the
You get a
suspense.
horror vibe in.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
Dudley Simpson, isn't it? I could be
Yeah.
wrong again, but I'm just
Yeah.
going to say that it is Dudley Simpson.
Yeah, I
It's great.
didn't notice the music much, but I do remember notice at one point when it was like that, and I was thinking that was quite clever, quite nicely done.
It was that creepiness, wasn't that? That
There
kind
was there's a lot of that era's incidental music, background music is pretty fucking awful for Doctor Who in the past, but that was acceptable. It was much too like radiophonic workshoppy, just somebody going mad with something.
Yes, and the other bit about the music was actually the chanting that the Sisterhood were doing.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Oh, that
sort
was
of-
great.
That
really,
went on,
yeah, that
it went on a
really
bit too long.
gave you that atmosphere, especially when they're
Yeah.
trying to burn the Doctor. I thought
When
that
they're
was fantastic.
doing the whisper and thing, and when that's in the background whilst
Yeah.
they're doing a speech, that was quite well done. I did enjoy that.
Proper cultish nightmares, isn't it? It's the stuff
They-
of
They gave me vibes of the sort of. Have you seen Mars Attacks? Have you seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
a long
Yeah,
time.
Where
ago.
there's that. There's always one who's a believer in something like crystals and that.
Yeah.
And and they pop off and sit there doing the lotus position, waiting for the aliens, thinking it's all peace and lovely. And I got the vibes of the sisterhood from that. It felt like they were a bunch of like crazy cult people.
There's that scene where Sarah Jane gets that red cardigan kind of, or that red shawl, and just blends in with them to rescue the Doctor.
Yeah.
That it's almost like, how is she going to untie him while they're all circling round? And then also the fact that she stands out so obviously, but she does it anyway. It's actually,
They're
when
in a
you actually
religious.
dissect
They're in
that,
a religious.
heightened state.
What's
Yeah,
the
they-
word? Rapture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're
Self-
not noticing
self-
her.
Is it shamanic state where it trans?
Well, they're all like hyped up. And
They're all
like,
off the tits.
they're all off the tits or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
They've been down Salford for some chems.
Yeah.
And, you know.
The effects were very good. Of all
The
of
effects were very good, yeah.
The teleporting and all that kind of stuff. And this era always looks, apart from the rat in Talons of Weng-Chiang, it always looks it's solid, really good,
Yes.
considering the budget was very low.
The whole look of his castle inside, it's beautifully done. It's really tall, different shapes and collapsed aspects and columns, and all the kind of the lab test tubes and different colors and smoke. It's just almost like it is Mad Genius Professor, isn't it? Pop on TV for kids.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very much Frankenstein. The
Yeah,
movie has
yeah.
somehow
It-
found its way into Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah. The only one that really did my head in, special effects wise, was the final bit of the whole story when the TARDIS just explodes and vanishes. Right, not like like materializes like it normally does. It explodes, vanishes, And I think that doesn't gel with what we know about the TARDIS. Why did it do this? That was the only bit that really annoyed me.
Have they upscaled it or added anything? Have these come out on Blu-ray yet? Because I was thinking,
No, it's not been released yet.
Because you can see
DVD?
these little touches they could bring up and stuff like that.
I'd not make a real thing of a timeless child on this when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Plus, the only thing I thought fails it is you get such a good storyline, you get to meet all these characters, and then right at the end, it bloody falls off the cliff.
Now, does that happen in Frankenstein or not?
Yes.
I thought it did. That is the end of the monster, isn't it? In Frankenstein.
It's the villagers running after him with the
Yes,
spears.
So it's that
I thought that was
recreation.
just a bit daft. They could have made something better on that.
You wanted a bigger drop for the stuntman, didn't you?
I wanted him
It was
to
just
go
being,
somewhere and disappear so they could bring him back.
it was just this is it was their pastiche, their homage to the Frankenstein tale that they had to end it like that. Really?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
I
it
think
isn't
it's- sorry,
usual
Craig.
though that Morbius as a concept has never really come back, has it? Because
I was
obviously, you have Rassilon, you have Omega.
Yeah.
If Morbius was so well known and feared and all the rest, I can't personally recall another time that he's mentioned actually, and it certainly never comes up in the legends and
but
myths.
you don't hear the Time Lords when they're just getting a coffee or they're in the shitter and just talking to each other through the
Talking to
cubicle.
the mate.
You don't hear that.
Time Lords doing a podcast together and having a chat.
Yeah, I hope
But
Morbius doesn't come back because my head's feeling a bit ropey.
You are right though, Craig, because it's one of them when these came up at the time. You know, this historic Time Lord like your Rassilons and all that kind of stuff. And then they've never done anything with him before. Again.
No.
So I think it's one of them that you could do again.
You could easily bring back like a Cult of Morbius, or you could, you could.
Ooh, that's a great episode title.
The Cult of Morbius. Big Finish
That's
must
really
have done
good.
Yeah, it's an obvious one to do, but they've never done it.
Tell you what, Craig. Tell your mates. Tell your mate who's friend of.
Tell Alison.
That's a good idea. You can tell your
Curse of
friend.
Morbius.
Curse of Morbius.
And make
a
sure
genius idea.
Around the Console gets credited.
No,
Yes.
Craig gets credited. Stop trying to steal
no,
it.
I believe
as a
collegiality.
group.
We can all share.
No, it's Craig because I mean
It
he's
was
so
through a
kind and nice that
conversation.
he'd spread it around anyway.
We've co-written it.
Yeah.
Right.
What's
Uh,
this? Oh, sorry.
I was going to mention as well, Terence Dix wrote this under the pseudonym Robin Bland. It's the only time I think he's had a full-on argument with Bob Holmes as well, because he doesn't strike me as the angry man, but he was fuming. Basically, submitted his script, and it was going to be Solon was going to be a robot who would crash landing with Morbius, and he was doing the body thing, and it was all this kind of stuff. So it was quite different to what was put onto screen.
It's Forbidden Planet as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but he was basically Forbidden Planet. Yeah, so he went on holiday after he submitted the script and got back, and it had been basically heavily rewritten for Terence Dix. He wasn't used to it at the time, being a brilliant writer, so he was furious. And he said, "Just put it on." He said, "I don't want my name on it. Put it under something bland." And then when it came out, it said Robin Bland.
It is absolutely genius.
Terence Dix was laughing his head off.
But he did have a point though, because the main thing that really upset him was the fact that they changed the Solon. The character of Solon was created instead of the robot. Now, if it had been a robot who wouldn't know what a human body might look like, and he'd just go around taking bits and bobs for other creatures without a reference or whatever.
That's a completely different tale as a result of that, though. I mean, giving like the
Frankenstein,
the Solon.
Yeah.
Giving Solon his intelligence. He's doing this deliberately. Gives it a much more sinister vibe, and getting Morbius back is seen as a much worse thing as a result, I think.
And also his interactions, isn't it? He's so creepy, and that whole menacing approach, you wouldn't get it. You'd get much more of a flat approach from a robot, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd have to say budget, probably.
Yes. I don't think they'd have carried that off at all.
It would have been like a Rastan warrior robot kind of Leotard.
It would have
I love
looked
the
awful.
Rastan.
It would have been.
awful.
So it was kind of done well.
I think it was changed for the best.
Yeah.
The Cult of Morbius do make an appearance, but not on TV. It's in the audios. It's got in the story called The Vengeance of Morbius.
No way.
Yeah, so they've taken
Craig,
your
someone
idea.
nicked it already.
Yeah, have a word, sort it out.
This is why we didn't want our name associated with this idea, and it's all Craig, because when it comes crashing down like this,
when I get sued for copyright on someone else, stab me in the back, just like
right. We'll go around and get some final thoughts. Cliff, come to you first.
like I said, I did enjoy it, and I get now why the ending is as the ending is. Like it's pointed out, like they kept with the reference of Frankenstein. Is this? I forgot. Is this the last season of Sarah Jane before?
Yes, before
Is,
it's
isn't
lost.
it? Yes.
Yeah. Because
No,
you've
she
got
appears in the
end.
next story,
Next-
season
but
2.
yeah,
It does,
last
but then it
season,
changes
yeah.
over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She's in a few stories in the next season.
Oh right, because I just think the chemistry together is brilliant. Because Tom is on form. This is this season and the next one. I think is his best. It just comes with the.
Yeah.
I know it's all written for him, but he seems to deliver him so good. I love it. It is a great one. It's not up there as my best, but with everything we know now, you need to see it. It makes everything understand it a lot better.
What's your 2 words?
Oh, 2 words is Frankenstein.
No.
That's one word. That's
Well,
one word.
actually, he can have that. It doesn't make sense, but he can
Oh,
have
wait,
it.
wait, I got a different one. Frankenfurter.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Different story
no,
altogether.
Fuck off.
Craig,
Spent all that- Yeah.
let's get your final thing. We're talking a hot sausage. Let's get your final thoughts.
Well, for me, I mean, it is an absolute genius story that stands on its own right. But for me now, watching it with New Who that's developed, I just could not help spot all the continuity. This was so continuity rich. And I kind of did a little list of what there were. There's the reference to how we had silver hair in the past. There's the whole timeless child. There's the mind mails that run right throughout. Because people forget sometimes, it's a new thing. It's not, it's gone right through. The Time Lord's state of non-intervention, the Sisterhood of Khan, the Mutes, Morbius, and the whole mythology of their kind of legends. And I just thought I couldn't help but feel how rich this is as an excellent story, but in an introduction in many ways to the kind of history of Gallifrey and Doctor Who. So I loved that for it. I just think the sets were creepy. I thought it was dark, sinister, completely gothic in many of the aspects of its stylings. Totally loved it. Always have done, always will do. 2 words, beautifully brainalicious.
Was that from AI? That was fucking...
No, I made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
I
you write
made it
that
up.
down?
No, it's not even on my
I'm not-
notes. I just did it off the top of my head, Cliff.
I'm not a fan of introducing AI to this show because now we don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, I
Suki,
don't think-
are you real?
Just for the record, I don't actually know how to use AI.
Yeah, oh, no,
And you'll
believe
believe
you.
that.
No,
Craig, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know how to use
Yeah.
it. There's a couple of things I just want to mention. There's a really, really terrible scene where Sarah is in plain sight of both Kondo and Solon as they walk by in the corridor. And I'm thinking, and he looks back as well, and I can't see how he cannot see Sarah just standing there. It just wasn't well lit. And the Sisterhood had flame spears. If you looked at the spears, instead of just having like a proper knife-like spear-like thing, it's a flame motif. I think that's a weird thing to have on the end of a spear.
Is
Is Doctor Who fan criticising that as a weird thing?
No, it's just a weird
Suki on
thing.
criticising people's spear designs.
Jesus, very niche, very niche.
I read the novelization for the of the story as well.
Yes, you
and
fucking did.
I did because I just thought.
No, I meant I believe it. It's tragic. I believe it.
Did you have it on the shelves already, Suki, or did you have to order
I'm
it
a big
especially?
I've
No, I've got a copy.
Right.
If you look on my Instagram or my
I don't-
Facebook,
I'm not on Instagram,
you
don't
will
understand
actually
it.
see me write a little report on that
You
book
got
as
it on
well.
the day it came out, 8p.
Who looks at Instagram?
So
Instagram.
yeah, that's it. I picked it
Instagram.
up for 8p from Bilston Library.
Wow.
It's one of my oldest books, that is. And it's great.
Fascinating.
It's some great extra passages in there. Chris, the monster at the beginning. There's a little bit on him. There's bits on the sister of on the flame, as they're called in the book. Morbius's backstory's put in there as well. There's loads of extra stuff in there because it's one of the earliest Target novelizations.
How
And,
old were you when you got this book?
the
50.
book I actually bought probably about 14, 15 when I bought
so
that book.
pages are stuck together, yeah.
Well, no, because I like to keep those sort of books clean. The others,
All right.
Your
Right.
mucky books.
yeah, the mucky books. Yeah.
Mucky books.
Yeah. So yeah, so if you get a chance, if you ever want to read the book, I'd recommend that book. Because as it says, it's one of the early ones where they did go around elaborating a bit more on the actual story, which is a bit strange because this story was written by Robert Holmes and it wasn't by Terrence Dicks. And Terrence Dicks, instead of novelizing his own story, he ended up having to novelize somebody else's. Sorry, John. And my
Sorry,
two
man.
words is something that John said earlier. So my two words are rapturous horror.
Oh, nice.
Also, talking of books, don't forget Clifford Shepherd has a book out called Blue Hills, available on Amazon, and all that kind of thing. It's worth reading. My mum's finished it. She loved
Did
it.
you like
Cliff.
it?
Oh, loved it.
Right. Oh, wicked.
She's like, yeah, I like that. Your
It's
friend's
great.
book."
It's great as a doorstop as well.
It's really good. Yeah, you
no,
can-
she read it.
Good as a
She read
coaster.
it. No, she read it, and then yeah, no, she loved it. So in all seriousness, there you go. Well done. Review from my mum can't go on the internet, by the way, to leave you a review, but she loved it. So if you can put that on for her, that'd be wonderful.
I've just got one more thing to say. I know we've got to go round,
Yeah.
but I forgot to say there's a great bit where Solon refers to the women as squalid brood of harpies.
Oh,
I'm
it's
going to
cracking.
use that in conversation more. It's
That
brilliant.
second episode has loads of one-liners like that.
Yeah.
Don't it? It's just
Great.
flows off the tongue.
John,
What?
have I done you?
What?
Not done
Oh,
you. have
right.
I?
Oh, my closing comments. Well, fellow time travelers, that concludes our thrilling expedition into the depths of the Brain of Morbius. We've explored the dark corners of Khan, witnessed the clash of titans between the Doctor and Morbius, and delved into the profound themes that make this classic episode a standout in the Whovian pantheon. As we power down the TARDIS and return to our present time,
Brilliant.
I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to you all for joining us on this adventure. Your love for Doctor Who and your enthusiasm for the timeless stories it weaves are what make our journey through time and space truly special.
Fuck off. That was really
Do you
good.
know,
Two
I
words.
spend
Much better than we could fucking write. That's tragedy, isn't it?
I mean, it was a bit sickly. It was
Oh,
a bit
yeah.
sickly.
What's
Yeah.
your two words?
What's your two words?
Well, I haven't said how I felt about the episode yet. I was just bullshitting. Yeah,
Oh, right.
I thought it was
No,
Joanna.
I thought it was great. The overall tone of it was exactly what I want out of Doctor Who, and the Doctor was on fine form. Fewer Tom Baker, Sarah Jane was in it, so it ticks a lot of boxes. I think it was just long enough. I wasn't, and it's normal that I get, the urge to like press
Bored.
pause and maybe not do it after episode 1. But I was at episode 3 before I realised where we were. So I just forged right the way through it. It was really good. My two words, I put into ChatGPT, I said, what two words can I use that will sum up this episode? And genuinely, this is the answer. Timeless menace.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit good, isn't it?
It's a bit fucking good, isn't it?
Why did he
Doctor
say
Who fan.
Frankenfurter?
Cool. Well, do you know what? Talking of watching it, I like to watch it with the info text on, where Suki used to get his notes on before we ousted him. And do you know what it does? I don't know if you agree with. I don't know if you do this still, or but you agree. It goes so fast when you watch it with info text on.
Yeah.
Even on the sort of worst stories, it kind of makes it tick along a lot faster. Like John was saying there.
Well, you're getting more engaged, I suppose, aren't you? So you
it's all good
have
stuff.
to take more info.
It's all good stuff, that info text. It's a brilliant idea. They don't do it on the new one, the new Who stuff, but it's I really like it. My two words are, I don't know. I haven't got AI, have I? So
I mean, you don't have to have AI. You've got an imagination, Bob. This is what you're renowned for.
I used to have an imagination.
Now you've got a child and no time.
But nothing. It's got nothing left in me, John. I'm gonna go with. I can't even get two words out. That's how tired I am. Uh-huh.
Tired Time Lord.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Tight trousers.
Come on. No. Give him time and space to get this. He can get it.
Stop reading
Come
off
on.
AI. I don't know. I can't not got it. I'm
So-
not,
Don't feel the pressure. If you put yourself under pressure, it won't come.
I've got nothing.
Wow.
Got nothing. There you go.
All right. Got nothing. There you go. You got there in the end.
That'll
Got
do.
Nothing.
Right.
Yes, that is
Right.
two words.
Next
Wonderful.
time.
Well, who chose that one, by the way? It's a good one. That one.
Me.
John
It
and
was-
Suki.
Yeah, that's John and Suki. It was a really good choice, that.
Right.
I forgot there was one last thing. Now, I searched, like you do it. I did a Google on it. And whether this is true or not, there's a few people what confirmed. Apparently, when the brain comes out, there was complaints to Mary Whitehouse. Remember Mary Whitehouse?
Oh, I do remember Mary Whitehouse.
Put a call into the BBC.
I wouldn't be surprised by it. It was that era, wasn't it?
That wasn't the
people
only
did.
complaint. I mean, you had real blood on screen as well when
Condor,
Condor was shot.
yeah.
Which is something that you don't usually
used to get that.
see.
They even complained in Colin Baker, didn't they, when the Sidemen gripped Linton, didn't they? And he had blood there, and that caused loads of complaints like 10 years later. Right, sorry, Bob's giving us the lucky dice.
Because sexy dice,
Brass bullet dice. Because it's time to choose our next story. So I'll go around the console, see what we did there. AI couldn't do that, and find out what's going on. John, what are you going to pick for next time?
Well, it all depends on what ChatGPT tells me that I can pick. So we've got give me another example, because we've already done that one. At the moment, it's telling me Genesis of the Daleks.
We've done that one though.
Yeah. So the Caves of Androzani. Well, we've done that recently as well.
No.
Third one and the final one, Blink.
Oh, good one.
Yeah,
And it's one episode, so I'm willing to go with it.
Blink, eh? Wow. Fair enough. Craig.
I'm going for a classic. I'm going truly classic. I'm going back to William Hartnell, and I'm going to propose The War Machines.
Fair.
Oh, can I change mine? Can I change mine to that? I want a Hartnell one.
Oh, get in.
I know, I quite like you, Blink. I think when you got when you can do it, you
we'll
want.
leave it there.
Excuse me, Bob.
We'll leave it there.
Excuse me.
Let
It's
the
in my
dice
camp.
decide. Let the dice decide. You're right.
Yeah. I think Blink's a good shout as well.
What are you saying about War Machines?
No, I think the War Machines is a good shout, but I think Blink's.
What are you
quite
saying about
interesting.
Blink?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Well, I think with Blink for me is like when you first watch it, it's brilliant, but every time I watched it again, because you know what happens, it's not as good. So
Yeah.
it'd be
Like when you watch
you-
Shawshank Redemption, it's coming out.
you know it's going to
We've done the podcast now, Bob. We've done it. We've reviewed it.
That's it, Blink done. So you can choose the War Machines if you want, John.
No, Blink is the one I'm going with.
Cool. Cliff.
I'm going to go for a Bonnie Langford one,
Ooh.
Delta and the Bannerman.
Get in. Love Delta. I mean,
I love that
yeah,
one.
well, yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
I am going to go for John Pertwee, Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
But these are all brilliant choices, lads. By the way,
They're all Doctor Who. That's why.
Apart from Blink, I'll be happy with any of them. Right.
Yeah,
I'm
Blink would be
going
interesting.
to-
That'd be an interesting one to review, actually.
What's
We have
yours?
to keep it positive, though. Yeah, what's yours?
No, we don't have to do it. We can't do what we want. Mine's going to be. I think I did this last time. Remembrance of the Daleks.
Oh, yeah, you did so.
That's two Sylvesters in there.
In the pile, which we like.
I'm
Right.
gonna change my mind because I asked for a rarer Doctor Who serial and it wants me to explore the invasion of time.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
that's my choice
Tom
now.
Baker, 6-parter, John. You asked for it there, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
the dice don't pick it.
let's roll these dice. The D6. It's 5. It's Craig.
Oh, the War Machines.
There you go. War Machine.
Oh, it's a good one. It is a good one.
Wonderful.
Again, you'll have to remind me about a day before we next record so I can watch it. If that's all right.
It's
The
only a
4-parter William
4-parter.
Hartnell.
So there you go. That's good.
Sarah Jane's not in it, though. For
Well,
obvious
thank
reasons.
you. Thank you very much for joining us, traversing time and space on this timey-wimey journey upon the shores of.
I've got one,
Winds
mate.
of
I've got an outro if you want it.
No.
Can we please not have AI in the podcast?
Aye.
As we prepare for our next voyage through the time vortex, remember, time is relative, but your support is timeless.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Until next time, keep your sonic screwdrivers charged, your wits sharp, and may your adventures in time and space be nothing short of fantastic.
It's awful, isn't it? This is
Podcast
awful.
outro music fades out. There you
Well,
go.
that
Scary.
works out well for our next story. Seeing as War Machines is a sort of AI story.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
nicely
good.
done.
So in between now and then, we'll have a bonus episode dropping of our big finish reviews, which we're coming to the end of, which is light at the end, is it that we're doing?
Yes.
Probably. Yep. Cool. Until then, it's goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.